True story. It's been plenty of times where I just didn't know where the money was going to come from. It's been times where I have prayed and asked God to have his way in my finances because I had no other person to turn to at all. It was a time where I owed the IRS some money. And this was about 2010, maybe 11. I owed the IRS money. And I remember fasting for the very first time in my life. I did a 10-day Daniel fast. I was young, still in my 20s. And for 10 days, I gave up, meats and things like that. And at the time, I'm a I was gonna say I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm not. I used to smoke cigarettes. And I remember giving up the cigarettes for those 10 days. And now when I think about it, I should have just stopped then. But thank God I'm delivered. But um so I stopped smoking cigarettes. I gave up the cigarettes. I gave up those pleasure foods like fried chicken and all that good stuff for 10 days, right? And I'm young. I'm in my 20s. It's the first time that I've ever fasted. I just kind of heard about it just a tad bit, not too much, because I didn't grow up in a house where fasting was a thing. But I don't know why I did it. It had to have been the Spirit of the Lord prompted me to do this. So I went on to Daniel. And I was going on to Daniel because I was asking God to do the impossible. The IRS said they were taking the money. It was nothing else I could do about it, right? Well, little do I know. Little did I know. About 10 days later, because, yeah, 10 days later, my check was in my account. And the Lord did it for me. The IRS did not take my money. I'm not gonna lie. The next year, they got their money. But that particular year, I was in so much, I needed to get away. I needed a car. And God knows I wasn't going to be able to get a car to get me and my kids back and forth so I could go to work and send them to daycare. But because I fast, and not only because I fast, it was the faith that I had because I had nothing and nobody else to depend on at that time but God. And I want to say this because another thing is this: I've always been a giver. Even when I had nothing. I don't care if it was information. I don't care if it was a prayer. I don't care if it was 50 cents. I've always just given people stuff. Like, even as a little girl, like, I remember always splitting my allowance with people, with my nieces and nephews because they didn't have candy or they didn't have, clothes. And I didn't have clothes either. But I still wanted to help my friends. It didn't matter. Anybody knows me knows that I love to give, whether it's information, money, or anything like that. I was just always a giver, just a genuine giver. But let me read something to you to back up this. I was young and now I am old. Yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread. They are always genuine and lending freely. Their children will be blessed. God promised, okay, so that came from Psalms 37, 25 and 26. God promised a blessing to genuine givers. Or he even promises to bless their children. That is reason enough to the day they die. My mother was a giver. Anybody that knew my mom knew that she gave. I used to hate how she gave because she would give her last. But the Bible does not lie. She gave so much that it poured into my life. It poured into my life. Even the children, me, I will receive. I believe I'm receiving because the Bible is not a lie. My mother genuinely gave. And here I am to this day still receiving from hands that I didn't even give to. God knows I am not lying. Hands that I didn't even give to, I received from. And I'm still receiving from it. And now I am a giver. I've been a giver since I was a little girl. And I think about it, it was in me to do that. Right? She passed that down to me. Um, I was young and I am old, but I never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread. If you ever want abundance in your life, give to the poor, give to the needy, give to someone who doesn't have it. I don't care if it's just a prayer. I don't care if it's money. I don't care if it's time. Give it to them. Give it to them and watch how God just keep continuing to bless your life. Right? It's things that I'm asking God for and I know how to get it. Right? I know how to get it. And y'all remember I said with fasting and prayer how a door opened up that should have never opened. That story is unheard of. Once the IRS tells you that they're taking your money, we all know Uncle Sam coming for it. Do he not? Yeah. This is a true story. I literally got my taxes that year and got a car for me and my kids. I had nothing. I had nothing and I was running. Okay? I was running. But God is good. Because I prayed, because someone was praying for me, because I fast, because I believed, He did it. And He did it with abundance. Um, I to this day can't understand how his methods. I don't understand his methods. I stopped trying. I just know that when I pray, He happened to listen to me. Look, if you like what I said, like, subscribe. If not, that's okay too. But just know this: I love you on purpose.